All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA Podcast. My name is Keith Parrish. Got Tyler Parker coming up in just a little bit to talk about his NBA League Pass player rankings. Also a little bit about the Ringer's top 100 NBA player rankings. There is a lot of NBA news going down. Most of it is bad. It's injury news. Steph Curry is going to be out for a few weeks. He got hurt in a game that they lost to the Pacers. The Warriors are under 500. They are 14-15. They have a not the easiest schedule coming up. Obviously, they play on Christmas Day. It looks like that Christmas Day Warriors-Grizzlies game will not have Steph Curry or Desmond Bane. Also in the Western Conference, the Mavericks lost Maxi Kleber to a injury. He tore his hamstring and could be out at least 2 months. The Mavs are at 500. They're 14-14, so things are looking a little tough for those squads. As far as the basketball on Wednesday, Nikola Jokic had virtually a perfect basketball game again. I mean, okay, all right, he had 8 turnovers. That's a lot of turnovers. But Jokic had 43 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 steals. He made 85% of his field goal attempts. He was 17 for 20 from the field. In the Basketball Reference database, no one's ever had 43 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, and 5 steals in a game before. Not to mention, was 17 for 20 on their field goal attempts. In the previous game, Jokic had 31 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists, and 4 blocks and a steal. No one's ever done that in a regulation game either. The only person who got close was a LeBron James in an overtime game. So Jokic is turning on the stats. The Nuggets have won 3 straight. Meanwhile, the Kings take down the Raptors. The Raptors are kind of spiraling just a little bit. The Hawks gave up a 50-piece to the Magic in the first quarter and lose. And that game combined with the Heat outlasting the Thunder means the Heat are in first place in the Southeast Division. And that is with having a record under 500. They're 14-15. Incredible. Never give up on your dreams, kids. On Thursday night, big game. The Milwaukee Bucks take on the Memphis Grizzlies, who are winners of 6 straight. The Grizzlies are tied with the Pelicans for the top record in the Western Conference. The Bucks are second in the East. Should be a great showdown. And if you are looking for the perfect holiday gift for any Grizzlies fans, well, get some 6-game holiday packs from the Grizzlies. They feature the year's best matchups and giveaways. These 6-game holiday packs start at just $26 per game. So you can skip them all, avoid the crowds, find the perfect gift with the Grizzlies 6-game holiday pack. To purchase one of these holiday packs, call 901-888-HOOP or click Grizzlies.com. Also, if you're still shopping for holiday gifts, check out our TeePublic store. All of our merch is still on sale. We have stuff for basically every team. You can check the link in this show or go to teepublic.com/user/fastbreakbreakfast. All right. Now let's bring on our guy, Tyler Parker. I'm joined right now by Tyler Parker. Tyler, how are you, man?
Man, I'm good, dude. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Holiday season where right now we were brainstorming ideas to get our lovely partners. We don't know. We're bad at it. Like you could buy me any basketball card ever.
Right.
And I'm happy. You could give me a pack of basketball cards. I don't collect them.
Totally.
But I still am excited when I get them. Like what basketball card should I get you? Like, I don't know. Just go. You could buy one from 1990. You could buy one from this year. Oh, it'll be cool. Like,
if you get me a pair of athletic shorts and the pockets have zippers and they'll hold all my things in there, then I'm going to be your best friend.
Tyler, I don't like having zippers on my pants.
Why?
I mean, in the pockets. Because I feel like, well, when I stick my hand in the pocket, I'm like, oh, I'm always rubbing this zipper, and it's cold, and my skin is dry and scaly like an aged man. And I don't like the zip. Like, I was looking for sweatpants that did not have zippers on the pockets.
Interesting. We're the exact opposite in our sweatpants.
I guess so. Also, you're a tall man. Have you found a purveyor of tall sweats? Because I found one I like. All right.
I don't go special really. I just get like, the basic Nike sweats and stuff like that. Like I like the pockets. I like the zipper pockets because it's infuriating if my keys keep falling out of my pocket.
You don't want that.
It's really upsetting.
Are you moving quickly? Why are things falling out of your pockets? I lope.
I am quite spry. If the question is, am I spry? Yes, I'm very spry.
You're more up and down the court like a Poku, like a baby reindeer on ice. I am more Kyle Anderson. I'm like, whoa, we're all going to get there. I'm going to use your speed against you. I am like, oh, you're walking faster than me. Well, guess who's going to feel guilted into holding the door for me? We got here at the same time, buddy.
It's funny to think about Kyle Anderson's game in that context, like somehow guilting defenders into.
Oh my God. Not to shoehorn in basketball talk too early. Kyle Anderson not having the Timberwolves. They lost a couple games to the Trailblazers, kind of big games in their playoff chase. They're not winning a ton. Kyle Anderson had a quote, and he said, "Somebody told me once, when you find yourself in hell, keep going."
That's not what you want to hear. If you're,
I mean, I guess it's inspirational. Hey man, when you find yourself in hell, just keep pushing through. You got to keep going. You don't want to stop, I guess. I guess there's a couple interpretations. Maybe you should look where you're going and maybe change direction. Or maybe it is something you got to push through.
I mean, I guess he must have been in there for a while because he feels closer to the exit than the entrance at this point. So I guess that's good. They must be seeing some light there. It might be more fire.
That's right. What if it's Super Mario Brothers 8-4 when you go down the tube, but if you don't go on the right one, you just go back to where you started. You just keep going in this loop. You're lost in this loop.
It stinks that a player that is as fun as slow-mo can be is sort of having to deal with the Gobert of it all.
I have more questions about Kyle Anderson, but before we do that, speaking of never-ending loops, I have to ask you about your breakfast.
Yes.
Have you had a breakfast, Tyler?
I have had a breakfast. I had an egg sandwich on a.
Oh,
yeah. I went to Einstein's this morning, and I got an egg bacon, egg, and cheese on a pretzel bagel.
There was an Einstein's bagel in Knoxville near my in-laws' place, and it was one of my wife's favorite spots. But they swapped over to something else. They would have a smoothie happy hour every day from 2 to 4 p.m. Whenever I found myself in Knoxville, Tennessee, I would go get a strawberry smoothie every day about 3 o'clock.
I don't think this one over here. If I need to go, I need to check that out. I've never visited them during a happy hour time of day.
In my mind, California, it's illegal to have happy hour. I'm not even joking. I feel like they passed a law like you can't sell 2-for-1 drinks. Like, sir, it's a non-alcoholic smoothie. It's still we wrote the law. We're not fixing that law, but you can't sell discounted drinks. I might have dreamed that.
That's funny.
I have a lot of views about California that aren't matched by reality.
Well, I think so do I, and so does everyone else probably, right?
Yeah, it's the fun. You wrote something for The Ringer. The Ringer came out with this top 100 NBA player rank thing, and I submitted like this official request to The Ringer to have someone come on and defend it, and somehow they sent you. Seems wrong. It's like I wanted to talk to some of the people who actually authored the document.
I was not made aware of this of this request.
No, I mean, I'm joking. These player ranks, which you were not involved with. You were involved with the League Pass player ranking, which is excellent.
Sure.
These rankings are always impossible. And I say, like, if you ask me privately, like not even in the context of I'm just launching this into the public basketball sphere to be discussed. If you asked me privately, like, hey man, who's the better player, Brook Lopez or Tyler Hero? I'd be like, I don't know. What are we doing? Like, What are we playing one-on-one? Like, I don't like, again, there's no way to rank these things.
Right.
But still, there's always things you take out of it where you're like, really? I didn't know that was like my question, and not for you don't have to answer because again, you don't want to burn any bridges. We like the people who did this list. They're very smart. They're very friendly, and there's also Kevin O'Connor. But like like I know the people who made the list basically, and I had a couple of questions. My one question, which again you don't have to answer, I just want to pass along: are they perpetually confused how the Grizzlies win basketball games? Are they like, oh man, the Grizzlies have a great record again, but they don't have any good players? It's wild. Like how do they do that? The Jazz have 4 players in the top 100. Like really? You don't. Okay, that's all. You have to respond.
I get. You know what?
How many total first-round picks? How many total first-round picks could the Jazz get for trading the 81st, 85th, and 97th best players in the NBA? I'm putting the over/under at 0. The players are Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, and Kelly Olynyk. All fine NBA guys.
Sure.
But you're telling me they're 3 of the top 95 and they can't get anything for them when they're available? Anyway, it doesn't matter. No, let's talk about your list is hilarious. You did this league pass ranking thing. And some of the factors you included. Well, tell us about it. You have most important is ruckus.
Sure. No, when they asked me to do this, they were like, and try to, come up with some sort of metric. And I really just wanted to try to come up with some stuff that was sort of as arbitrary as possible, because I'm kind of with you that these lists are like, how do you even do it? How can you, like, I'm with you on that point. And so, the idea was just kind of like, all right, like, let's just look at this from basically purely an entertainment perspective. Well, how fun are these guys to watch? How interesting, we decided we were going to base it off of razzle dazzle vibes and ruckus. And it just kind of, like it's, based off of how exciting they are to watch. Is the like one of the lines I have is, some guys go for 20 and it feels like 10, other guys go for 20 and it's an acid trip through Narnia. Kind of the idea that, like, there is some guys, it's not fun when they dominate.
Sure.
It is impressive. It is, explosive, even sometimes like very highlight worthy stuff happens, but there's still, something that can feel a little bit ineffectual about everything. Or like you're watching them go off and you're sort of looking at their teammates and you're like, they're not enjoying this as much as I think the player would like them to be. That sort of stuff. Just kind of trying to look at guys from that perspective. Like, who are the guys that whenever they're on, you're like, oh, something's going to happen, or like just guys that kind of, perk your, I don't know. What am I saying? Jeez, Keith. Pique your
perkometer? Your
perkometer? I don't know. I'm
light the fire. Yeah.
I mean, certainly I'm losing it.
I mean, again, I a lot of the names, like, you don't have to try too hard. Like, you don't have to dig too deep. Like,
no.
I'll give away your top few. I mean, Zion, Ja Morant, and Steph Curry. Yeah. If those guys are playing basketball, I'm watching, because they're amazing and they're awesome. And they do stuff every single game. We were like, what in the world? I will give you huge credit for, like, the top 10 right now. It's essentially all amazing basketball players, like first team all NBA caliber, arguable dudes. And then you get to Bull, who, and I'm not even making fun of this, on Wednesday night, Bull razzled dazzled his way up and down the court and dunked over the entire Atlanta Hawks team. One of the highlights of the evening. We're talking multi-million impressions on Instagram on the league's accounts for Bull, your man.
Right.
Going nuts.
I mean, like Bull was a hard case for me, because I don't feel that I am, I'm not even able to be objective really about it. I get so excited when he's on the court.
It's
And
great.
I don't know if it's inordinate compared to other people. I'm sure that it is, but it's one of those things like, you watch him play the Nets, and Durant's out there, and Paolo and Franz are out there, and those guys are objectively, I think, better basketball players than he is right now. Franz and KD for sure, and Paolo for sure too. But like I can't stop watching Bull. And when I'm more excited when he has the ball than I am when any of the rest of them do.
Yes.
And I started kind of the way I was trying to think of, and not in every instance, because some of these dudes aren't on here because they're scorers, right? But like, I tried to think about, like, if I got some text that it was, start of the fourth, and, Bowl had 40 and Durant had 40 in another game, and Embiid had 40 in another game. Like, which game am I tuning into to watch in that sort of situation?
So Tyler, it's not even that. I'm going to improve your scenario, your hypothetical scenario. It is, if someone's like, hey, Durant has 40, Harden has 40, Embiid has 40, Bull has 18, 9, and 5. I'm like, well, I'm watching Bull. I got to see what Bull's got in store for the end of that game.
Yes, right. I mean, he's one of those guys that, and like, I'm sure I'm being silly about it too, but I really, really hope that he's able to just stay healthy, and they keep giving him all these minutes, and this like on ball diet that they're giving him, that's just kind of increasing game to game. Like, the stuff doesn't really feel like flash in the pan to me whenever, like, it feels, it doesn't feel like he's playing out, way over his head, right? Like,
I agree. Yeah.
And there is something to that. He was this unbelievable, recruit, because those dudes, I think, keep in their heads for a long time, like, no, I'm one of these monsters too. Like, they have there's like a wellspring of confidence, I think, that some of those kind of premium 5-star dudes who've been doing that USA basketball stuff since they were 14 or whatever, they can get to that kind of, I'm taking over place maybe a little bit quicker than some other dudes can, who have not hit early in their careers, right? And so, yeah, I mean, you see the confidence grown by the game with him, and you see the bench, the Magic bench is so excited for him.
Oh, yeah.
The energy is very, very good there, it seems.
Yeah, another mark in Bull's favor is, like, if you're watching the Magic, and a lot of us League Pass junkies, we're doing it because we want to see Paolo Banchero, and so a lot of times whoever you're tuning in for, if it's Banchero, you're like, I didn't tune into this game to see Terrence Ross shoot, or Cole Anthony. Come on, man, get it to Banchero. Right. That's what I want to see. But if Bull has it, you're like, oh no, I'll watch Bull shoot. Like, I don't care if he's taking away touches, because he's been so dynamic, so exciting. Of your list here, I'm gonna tell you a couple that I don't love watching.
Please.
And one of them is almost like a hipster darling, and I think it's more because of the name is fun. I don't derive a lot of joy from Bones Highland, and I watch a lot of Nuggets games. He's fine. He has a lot in the category of his teammates love him. And they seem to really enjoy themselves. Also, Bones Highland was a great teammate. Jeff Green had an incredible dunk on Daniel Gafford on Wednesday night, and Bones Highland seemed like the happiest guy on the whole court. But like Bones Highland, I'm just like, you're kind of a gunner. Maybe just swing that ball a little bit more instead of taking so many heat checks every game.
I think that's a fair critique of Bones's game. There's a part of me that likes that prizes the no, the best option is for me to dribble here for 15 seconds and
sure. Okay. Yeah.
It only in certain situations, like when he's not sharing the floor with Jokic or something like that. I was sort of way more I'm way more okay with that, depending on certain lineups that the Nugs throw out there. Like, I don't need to see Aaron Gordon initiating. Like, I'm good. Like but the thing I like about Bones is that I think that he has in the back of his head a lot, like, these people paid to come here and see something entertaining.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that I like players that have the in arena crowd in mind in that way. And I think that he can I think the ball handling is a little bit better, and some of the passing, when he does decide to do it, is a little bit more creative and with more personality than a lot of just straight up and down gunner types of dudes. Obviously, defensively, it'd be great if he was a little bit sturdier, but like there's something about, I think that it would be very, and this isn't a reason to rank him as a super watchable dude, but just something that I've admired about him is you walk into, and part of it is that Jamal Murray's out last year, and so you don't have to kind of deal with that. But you walk into like a situation with a hyper ball dominant dude like Jokic, and it would be hard to I think if you're someone like Bones who, likes the ball in his hands, I think that he's been able to fit in there so well, so early, on a team that, at least whenever they drafted him, had aspirations to, get back deep into the playoffs again. I like the attitude, I guess, and kind of what it says about him going forward. But no, I mean, I like gunners, if it's not just unabashed, but I totally get people that are like, all right.
I find myself watching the Nuggets a lot of times wanting less Bones and more Ish. So I'm like, sure. I would, I don't care about Lee. I'd rather just put Ish Smith in. I need someone to Trent Dilfer this. I need a game manager. Right now,
as I said, this is I did not think about, like in-game success.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm with you.
This is not about like, oh, they might be, plus 1 points better, more, with Ish out there. I don't know.
Who are the? Can you tell us some of the near misses? Is this where Kyle Anderson comes in? Because Kyle Anderson. All right, if we're gonna rank him, I would argue high razzle dazzle, and I can understand how a lot of people would say not high. I think extremely high razzle dazzle. I think also he's got great vibes.
Oh, wonderful vibes. I think he's way high in those categories.
Okay.
In the Ruckus category, you're going to take a hit.
That's fair. Yeah.
Except isn't he the person who made Gobert look absolutely pathetic when Gobert sort of pretended to flop during the playoffs that one year?
Yeah, well, also, but now Kyle Anderson is the only guy throwing Gobert good lobs. He's like the only good lob thrower in Minnesota. I mean,
that's true.
Kyle Anderson's the guy. I mean, obviously, I'm too biased, but I won't turn the channel when Kyle Anderson's in the game.
No, I mean, Kyle Anderson is there. I mean, you don't want me to read this long list, but Halliburton was way up there. Siakam, Donovan Mitchell, obviously Anthony Davis has been going bananas. Dame, sat for a good chunk of the middle of the season, and I did not put him on there because of that, but it was kind of one of those things where it was like, I don't know, you haven't but then I'm sure that I've got somebody in the list who's like also played like only 1 or 2 games more than Dame, so it's not. Dame is more that like, and Anthony Davis to an extent are kind of, they've been around for so long. It's not that they're capable of big time fireworks and stuff like that. And I think that Dame is more watchable than Anthony Davis. I still have a hard time with all of the falling down stuff.
Well, I mean, Dame's been on this heater, but also maybe this is part of just jadedness. It's grown stale for me.
I think
I've seen that. I need variety now. Halliburton's fresh and young.
I don't even know if I don't think Dame is Dame is stale. It's more just like, yeah,
I'm
we
just
know.
saying for me. I'm not saying his game is.
Sure.
I'm just saying I'm saying my pure entertainment value. That's all. I'm saying.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's one of those like we know what he is now, and so maybe I think that's fair what you're saying. But yeah, I mean I had Simons on there.
Yeah.
Simons,
Oh yeah, he's fun. Okay.
Brunson, I like Paolo.
Brunson.
Yeah, I like Brunson. I like lefties. I
Okay.
like 50 little lefties who have more success in the lane than they should. Paolo, Mobley, Bain was in there for sure. McCall Bridges, Kenyon Martin Jr.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, he's fun to watch.
Jared Vanderbilt, I have a soft spot for. Beef Stew, same story. Malik Monk, I love. Vassell, AJ Griffin came kind of into the mix here.
Just recently, sure. Yeah.
Very recently, but I mean, I loved him in the draft, and then getting to see him really kind of start to flourish has been awesome. Jaylen Brown,
who are your opposite end of the spectrum? Who are your least favorite league pass guys? I will turn the channel. I'll turn the channel when they check in.
He's catching strays left and right, but I mean, Gobert's way down there for me. Just as a watch, just based off of pure watchability and I mean, he's obviously an amazing defender, but I just a real slog, and just and personality wise, I have a hard time with it. All the sort of fake tough guy posturing and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then not being able to back down, Berea or whatever. Like it's hard to be like, yeah, I can't wait to watch this again. Pat Bev, I don't like to watch.
Oh, you're not into Pat Bev. You're not buying that. Yeah.
I'm not, because it's like, it's at this point, sort of all he provides is the agitation. There's nothing, you don't even get the sense that like, oh, this guy's going to be able to back this talk up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
not a big fan of pushing dudes in the back.
Right. He got popped for 3 games last time for a history of shoving dudes in the back.
It's weird, and it's weird because there is a history. That's a bad history to have. Yeah. That's a bad history to be known for. It's like right up there with Chris Paul punching dudes in the nuts. Like, you don't want to be known as a guy who pushes people in the back. Yeah, those two dudes. Those two dudes were kind of the first guys that came to mind. Do you have? I'm sure you have some.
I mean, it's almost passé to say it, but like James Harden is not fun to watch play basketball. Right. I would go with Julius Randle, and like the Knicks are hot right now. Like the Knicks are winning games. Julius Randle's putting up great stats. There's something about it. Just don't.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for you.
Don't love it. Kelly Oubre. I don't know why. I mean, he's so good looking.
He is
hot. Man. Sure. I mean, he made like Steve Clifford lost his mind on Wednesday because of how poor the Hornets, how bad their effort was. He didn't field any questions. He just said, "Let me tell you about how bad our defense is and how." I don't know. Those guys are pretty high. I mean, I have a weird thing. I've always had a weird thing where I don't watch the Lakers. Like, and this goes back to like when they were the best team in the NBA by far, when it was like Shaq and Kobe. And I was like, meh, I don't know why. So I still have this residual thing. And like, I like watching LeBron, but if you're telling me like, if you tell me Malik Monk is checked in for the Kings and there's a close Lakers game, I'm going to switch over to the Kings and watch like, oh, let's watch Malik Monk cook. Let's see what this guy's doing. A couple other things before you get out of here. Clipper Darrell got punched in the face by a security guard. Did you see this?
Not until you told me to look at it. That
Clipper Darrell, famous Clippers fan.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the video was like Clipper Darrell gets knocked down. I thought it would be like a misunderstanding, you know? I thought it was going to be like, oh, he lost his balance because the security guard put his hands on him. Like a Larry Sanders episode where Larry Sanders knocks over the lady at a convenience store. No. This security guard Mike Tyson'd him like a full knockdown to the point where I'm like, is that real?
I went and looked at the TMZ. Like, I always think that their write-ups are funny because they show the video, but then they feel the need to have all right. One of the last sentences was Darrell crashed into a nearby trash receptacle and appeared to lose consciousness, which is
it was a grainy video. He might have, but again, the ferocity of this punch and the fact that it was like a cleanly thrown hook where I was like, oh my goodness. I don't think security guards are supposed to do that.
It felt like one of those things like Darrell was trying to be like, look, I'm in charge here.
Sure.
I can walk over there. Like,
yeah.
Do you know who I am? Look at my suit. And it really was like, the guy, it was one of those big time hits where then the guy is immediately calm again right afterwards. The security, it wasn't like the security guard like jumped on top of him and tried to like get the fight called, right? Like,
okay, all right.
It was pretty.
I mean, I think Clipper Darrell, I'm with you. I agree. He had one of those like, what are you gonna do? Hit me?
Right.
And then the guy laid him out, and I'm still stunned by the punch. I'm sure that there's some. We're going to hear more about this, I think, through some lawyers going to take this case.
Yeah, I mean, there was like, it said that he told TMZ Wednesday morning he's suffering from headaches and currently on medication to try to alleviate some of his symptoms. So I don't find that unbelievable in the least.
No, I mean, that looked extremely painful. Yeah, no, Tyler, actually, I wanted to know, you didn't put your guy Poku on your league pass. Was that like just personal discipline? I mean,
I'd like to think it shows growth and maturity, you know?
I mean, is it reflecting that I feel like Dagnot's been a little bit of a Poku tease this year? Where we're talking about
define Poku tease.
No, I just mean like, oh, Poku played 10 minutes. What's that about? 12 minutes?
Oh, right.
8 minutes? I thought we had some excitement a little earlier with Poku, where he was getting some big minutes, and now it's like, all right.
But those with some of those dudes, you know, like he does so many different roster combinations. It's absolutely bonkers. Like if you go look at the other teams in the league and their most used lineup, how many more minutes the total best lineups have compared to the Thunder's sort of best 5-man lineup, or they play all sorts of different combinations, and guys can just sort of, I mean, you know, Isaiah Joe, you know, saved the day against the Mavericks or whoever it was earlier in the season. He played like 10 minutes all game, you know, and like he's not, Dagnot will just he'll take the cover off in a hurry and do that sort of stuff. He's kind of an oddball like that.
They did, and actually, this is interesting. It actually refers, or it ties a little bit into your league pass rankings. You know, you got Shea in there, right? He was on there, I believe.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So Shea, he's awesome, but he suffers from James Harden disease.
Okay.
Where, I mean, you saw him. Did you see him against the Grizzlies game? Where he had 19. He had 19 free throw attempts. He made 4 field goals.
Oh no, he's getting to the line 19.
And a lot of it is it's just the collision and fall down. Like I have a guy like I would, if I was doing my own league pass player rankings, I'd have DeMar DeRozan on there. I love watching DeMar DeRozan, but he's a dark arts with the foul calls. We're like, that's a detractor.
I don't know that I would put Shea up there on the level of James Harden's witchcraft when it comes to drawing fouls. I think that he's gotten very good at it for sure.
Yeah.
And it would grate me more if like he wasn't getting it done in other areas, but he's been like, you know, efficient otherwise. But no, I mean, he's definitely starting to pick up on how to, you know, manipulate things, which is, I mean, it's one of those things like, and I mean, Ja doesn't do this on this level, but like, it's like all the big time scorers and stuff, like they figure out how to, you know, how to grift as best they can. I think it as much as I dislike it sometimes, it is one of those things where I remind myself like, well, I guess if I were a fan of this guy, I'd be pumped up that he's You know what I mean?
Well, also the Thunder have gotten really good at manipulating the officials through the press now, where you had that
Are they
stat.
really good at it, or did it just happen this one time?
Well, so now most recently, so Shea had the thing,
Oh,
weeks
right. Well,
ago,
Shea, yes,
where
Shea did the
he
thing
was
that-
like, the officials get more calls right than they get wrong. They're humans too, and since then he's led the NBA in free throw attempts per game.
Hey, man.
But then you had on Wednesday night where like they were upset about the officiating, and they asked Coach Dagnall, and he's like, listen. I can't remember the exact officials. He's like, we had these three officials. There are three of the most experienced officials in the game. We never get experienced crews. I love having these guys. I wish they would call every one of our games because the league literally signs the less seasoned and experienced officials to the less marquee games for whatever, you could argue whether that's right or wrong. But again, Dagnall publicly being like, oh no, we were happy with the officials we got. We would love to get more of those officials. He's buttering them up again.
They're definitely. I mean, they're playing the game.
By the way, I got these Shea free throw numbers. I just refreshed myself.
Yeah, they're nuts.
In his last 11 games, this seems impossible. In his last 11 games, he has 128 free throw attempts, and he's made 123 of them. That's 123 for 128. That's 96.1%.
He's gotten the leap he's taken in his ability to draw fouls would be the most impressive thing about his whole free throw game, if not for the fact that he went up over 10 percentage points in his on free throws in a year. I mean, he's at 81. He's basically at 80, across the board for his first 4 years. And then this year jumps up to, like he said, I mean, he's at 93 right now. It's
unbelievable.
That's like you don't often see that. He's like, he always comes back much better at something that he, was only good at before. But no, I don't get too fussy if someone's going to point out that he gets a lot of foul calls. He did, for sure. He does.
Yeah. It's all good. Well, anyways, Tyler, a pleasure as always. I really enjoy talking with you, and I look forward to you coming on again sometime.
Yeah, buddy.